YouTube, this is Jeff aka 11 Bronson back today with the next installment of the Collecting 007 series. And in this episode we are going to take a look at the movies that I've collected on DVD and Blu Ray, just the entire Bond franchise. Except for of course the latest one, No Time to Die, which is currently, as this video is being filmed, I don't know when it will be up, but as this video is being filmed it's still in theaters. So it's got the 25 films, excluding No Time to Die. Wait a minute, I think I'm not counting it right. I think No Time to Die is the 25th one. Yeah, it is. Anyway, let's take a look at all the DVDs and the Blu-rays. Here we go. Alright, so I'm actually sitting on the ground for showing you the DVDs right here, because they are in this silver metallic briefcase, which definitely has seen better days. As you can see, it does have some scratches on it. It says the 007, it has the insignia right there. Anyway, let's just open it and go through all the films that are in here. There we go. There we go. And all the films are in there. Right up until Skyfall, actually, all of the first 23 Bond films are there. Casino Royale, Quantum on top. We'll show you those, of course, in a minute. We're gonna go in order. Let's remove the Skyfall DVD right there. Oops. And so I'm just gonna show you all of the films in here in order. So starting off, of course, with let's see the best way to do this. Dr. No. What I love about the DVD set here is they all have the same sort of cover motif. They go great together. It's definitely a full set if you have them all. I'm going to show you, not for all of them, but just for this first one right here, Dr. No 1962, the iconic film. They all have a slipcover, so you remove that and you have a little booklet in there, and also 2 discs of obviously the main movie and a bonus disc. Now I'm going to show you what one of those booklets looks like. Let me open them up. Of course, it depends for country. Of course, these are translated into Dutch in terms of the actual writing about the film. But yeah, it talks about some behind the scenes stuff about the film, making of everything, about the restoration I meant to say. It has a little cast list here in the back, and it lists the special features once again. So really, really cool. So yeah, Dr. No is a film I've always loved. It's definitely the lowest budget of all of the Bond films. It's definitely, we all have to start someplace, and that's definitely for me a good way to start. Anyway, next up is From Russia with Love, 1963. This is a fantastic film, featuring one of my favorite Bond girls. I actually love Daniela Bianchi as Tatiana Romanova. Robert Shaw is a great villain. Lotte Lenya is great. And Connery brings his A game. I think he really got it right out of the gates with Dr. No. A lot of people say, Connery's best film is Goldfinger. That's where he was at his best. For me, he was at his best all along, from Dr. No onwards. And did the performance come to perfection in Goldfinger? Arguably, yes. But anyway, I feel it's very close. I feel like he was already, knocking it out with Dr. No and From Russia with Love. But this here is Goldfinger from 1964. This is, of course, the film that gave us the classic Aston Martin DB5. It's got, the girl painted in gold. It's got Odd Job. It's got a great song by Shirley Bassey. The soundtrack by John Barry is really fantastic as well. Overall, a lot of people say this sort of became the blueprint of what a Bond film should be. And I mean, I can definitely not argue with that logic. That's definitely true. Then we have Thunderball. A lot of people love this one. I've always had sort of issues with it in terms with the underwater scenes. They go on a little bit too long for me. However, having said that, with my most recent couple of rewatches, I've actually had this film growing on me, and it might, if I do the ranking again, it might rank higher if I did it today. Um, it's always been towards sort of the bottom half for me. It might be up towards the middle now. It's really grown on me for sure. Thunderball. It's got some iconic moments as well. I mean, that opening scene with Connery using the jetpack is absolutely fantastic. Next up is 1967's You Only Live Twice, which for the first time features Blofeld. This one played by Donald Pleasance, the iconic Donald Pleasance. I've always had a soft spot for this film here as well. I love the entire Japan setting. The volcano crater at the end. This is definitely a more fantastical Bond film, but I absolutely love it. And of course that was followed when Sean Connery said he would step down from the role and never play James Bond again. They went on a search and they found Australian male model George Lazenby to star in On Her Majesty's Secret Service. And now a lot can be said about Lazenby. I actually don't mind him as much as other people do. And the film itself is my personal all-time favorite James Bond film. It just hasn't been topped. I love it, the whole Piz Gloria setting, and you know, the Switzerland setting, the Piz Gloria base for Blofeld. I love the incarnation of Telly Savalas as Blofeld. I think he's actually better than Donald Pleasance, but that's my own personal humble opinion. Of course, the ending is tragic. The music is beautiful by John Barry. It's fantastic. It just has the best story of any Bond film, and yeah, it's just my favorite. Anyway, it was followed by arguably one of the lesser films in the franchise. They got Sean Connery back for a record sum of $1.2 million for Diamonds Are Forever from 1971. Charles Gray as Blofeld. Love him or hate him, I'm okay with him, but he's definitely the weakest Blofeld. Jill St. John as the Bond girl. This has some good elements, but overall, it was just a sloppy film in my opinion. If you look at the special effects in this, they were really cheap even for those standards. I guess that's because most of the budget went to Mr. Connery, but you know, what can you do? Anyway, that was followed by probably my favorite era of Bond, which is the Roger Moore era. I have such a soft spot for the Roger Moore era because he is my favorite Bond actor. Controversial opinion, I know. A lot of people say Sean Connery. Yeah, Connery is definitely... I mean, okay, I once again, I have to make the distinction between my personal favorite and the best. If you ask me, purely objective, who's the best James Bond, I'd say Sean Connery. If you ask me my personal subjective opinion, I have to go with Roger Moore. I just love his style. I love his charm. He's the quintessential English, British gentleman, in my opinion. Moore himself always said, Sean was the killer, he was the lover. I think I couldn't have said it better myself. So, Live and Let Die, fantastic film. In my opinion, great debut for Roger Moore. Next up is The Man with the Golden Gun, which is it's a little bit of a miss. I love Christopher Lee as Scaramanga. I actually love Hervé Villechaize, I hope I pronounced his name right, as Nick Nack. Not a fan of Britt Eklund as the Bond girl. I do like the Thailand setting, but the tone of the film is just all over the place. You have this fantastic car stunt, where the car does the loop or the barrel roll, but they add a fucking slide whistle to it, which I'm not a fan of. It's a mixed bag of a film. Anyway, it was followed by Roger Moore's best film, and this cover I see has seen better days. Spy Who Loved Me, absolutely fantastic film. I actually watched it again last night. This is just absolutely amazing. Jaws is in it, for the first time. He's actually still scary in this one. You got Barbara Bach, who is one of my favorite Bond girls. Looks wise alone. She's beautiful as hell. Married, of course, to Ringo Starr, for a fun fact for you. And yeah, this is a great Bond film. Next up is a lot of people don't like this one. I always had a soft spot for Moonraker, 1979. The sci-fi Bond, yeah, I mean, it is definitely silly, but at least the film acknowledges that it's silly. It doesn't take itself too serious. At least it's consistent within the tone. They set out to be a silly film, and they stay that way the entire way. But I absolutely adore and love Moonraker. Um, Probably has one of the best John Barry scores once again, that one. Flight into Space, which I believe is the track is called on the soundtrack, is just pure 00 heaven. Next up is For Your Eyes Only, my personal second favorite Roger Moore film. My favorite, of course, is The Spy Who Loved Me. And actually, when I was a kid, I would consider this one my favorite Roger Moore film. But yeah, I love this one. I love the song by Sheena Easton. Bill Conti as a as a first time composer to the series, and only, I should add, his only scoring duties for this one. I think he does good for for being a one time composer for this one. The Bond girls I think are fantastic in this one, but I will save further thoughts for when I eventually do reviews of all the Bond films. Anyway, next up was 1983's Octopussy, which is again one of my favorites. I love Octopussy. It's just one of those films I can watch. I can just pick it out of the shelf when I'm just like in a mood for, I want to watch a quick, easy Bond film. This definitely is the one that has all the ingredients, has all the elements. Yeah, Octopussy, I love it. And next up is the final Roger Moore film, A View to a Kill from 1985. Again, one that I've always had a soft spot for. And like I said, it's just maybe because I'm biased, because I just love Roger Moore that much. I recognize this as a problematic film, but there's also a lot of great elements about it, including Christopher Walken as Max Zorin, the villain in this movie. You amuse me, Mr. Bond. Sorry for the Christopher Walken impression. I couldn't resist. But he is fantastic. So is Grace Jones in this film. I like it. Definitely has some issues, but I could still watch it, which is more than I can say for Living Daylights. I've always had a dislike for this film. I don't know what it is. There's just something that puts me off for this film. And unlike Thunderball and even Quantum, which with the last viewing has been okay for me, this one, with every review, with every rewatch, I just even find it more, I just find it worse and worse. I don't think this is a tailor-made film for Timothy Dalton. I much prefer his second one, which is more tailored to him. But this feels a lot of leftover, it feels like there's a lot of leftover elements from the Roger Moore films. Dalton is sort of stuck in the middle where he's doing his new thing and he has to do, some gags and everything. And then the story itself, I just find a little too weak. The villains are weak, like really Koskov and I can't even remember his name. There you go. Whitaker, that's the name. Anyway, I much prefer this film, License to Kill, which is in my top 10 for sure. Very underrated James Bond film. I absolutely love this one. The Bond girls are fantastic. Both of them. I love Robert Davi as Sanchez, the villain. Probably playing the most brutal Bond villain ever. Even though he's just a drug dealer on paper, but it's a fantastic film. I love this one. It's definitely the most 80s action of the Bond films. Anyway, then we didn't have a Bond film for 6 years until 1995 with Pierce Brosnan coming in, and this is, of course, GoldenEye from 1995. Fantastic film. I've sort of been all over the place with this film in my history of the Bond fandom. For me, when I was a kid, I wasn't really that big of a fan of it. It definitely, I gained more of an appreciation for GoldenEye as the years went on. And yeah, it's definitely a great James Bond film. I still don't love it as much as other people do, but I definitely appreciate the film. Let's put it that way. Anyway, next up is Tomorrow Never Dies from 1997. Again, just like with Octopussy, one of those Bond films you can just pull out of the shelf and just watch it on a Sunday afternoon. It ticks all the boxes, you know. It's just a fun, entertaining watch for sure. It's a great one. This is probably my second favorite Pierce Brosnan film, and you know, when I was a kid, this was actually my favorite. I actually prefer this over GoldenEye. The World Is Not Enough, 1999. Probably my favorite, one of my favorite Bond villains and women. Sophie Marceau as Electra King is just absolutely beautiful, and she's a great actress. I've seen her in a couple of things. She's absolutely terrific. And then, oh my god, the abomination that is Die Another Day. Halle Berry is a great actress, but not in this film. I really am annoyed by her in this film every time I watch it. She has the worst dialogue ever. I can only like it if I have the time. Or Yo Mama, like, yeah, just terrible. Film itself, mixed bag as well. Like the first third of the film, I actually think it's decent. Yeah, yeah. Anyway, we then got a reboot in 2006 with Daniel Craig taking over, and of course he's the current Bond. We still don't have a new Bond. As I'm recording this, No Time to Die has finally released, which is the final Daniel Craig film. So for me, he's still the current Bond. It's Casino Royale here. What can I say about Casino Royale? That hasn't been said already. It's absolutely fantastic. This is, by the way, where the cover motifs are different, because the briefcase originally had just the first 20 Bond films, so these I got later separately. So that's Casino Royale. And then we have Quantum of Solace from 2008, which was the very first Bond film that I was old enough to see in theaters. So, yeah, this was my first. One would say, well, you should have a soft spot for it. No, I hated it back then, hate it now. I much prefer my theater experience of this one. Skyfall, this one I saw in theaters at least 5 times. I absolutely love Skyfall. Absolutely fantastic film, 2012. The hype was so big. I mean, it being the 50th anniversary of at that time, I was really caught in the hype train for Skyfall, and it did not disappoint at all. So, anyways, those are the DVDs. Let's move over to the Blu-rays of James Bond that I have. So I can finally sit down at the table again like a normal person. This is the James Bond Blu-ray box set that I own. As you can see, it has an image of all the 6 Bond actors up until this point, of course. Very basic design, and it's been weathered over the years. I probably picked this up around Spectre time. That's when I picked this up. It should have a J card on it, but I don't have that right now. I do have that somewhere, but for the video I couldn't find it at the moment. I know it's somewhere, but anyway, let's just take a look quickly. We just covered all the films, so we'll just basically flip through and I'll just show you how this edition looks like. So you take the slip cover off. You have a big black box, which is actually... Oh, I'm actually not too happy about this though. The Dr. No disc just fell out. And I see a disc right there that's about to fall out. I'm not too happy about this. Anyway, what I was going to show you... That looks... We're going to get to that in a second. This outer box for that... Very, very sturdy. Very, very sturdy. Nothing is going to happen. So that's a plus point. Let's see what this is. What's the bonus disc? I'm not too happy about that at all. That shouldn't happen, actually. Anyway, so you have the design on here. Pretty much has all titles of all the Bond films, going all the way through the to the back. And then, oh my god, another disc fell out. Oh, it sounded like a disc fell out again. I heard it right. Oh, it's The World Is Not Enough. What the fuck, that shouldn't happen. I was actually going to talk about how economical the storing of the disc are with this compared to the Bond 50 set, but the box set is already going against itself in that regard. But anyway, yeah, you have a list of all the films up until Spectre right here at the left hand side. I know it's a little dark on camera, but trust me, it's there. And then you have the disc, you know, which you can flip through. Dr. No, From Russia With Love, Goldfinger. Oh, I still have Thunderball in my Blu-ray player from yesterday. I was gonna say Honor Majesty shouldn't be there, but I was seeing it through the yeah. Anyway, Goldfinger, Thunderball, usually should be Thunderball there. You Only Live Twice and Majesties. And they do all have the same disc design, which I do appreciate, except for Spectre, which we're going to get to. But yeah, Diamonds Are Forever and Live and Let Die. Man with the Golden Gun, Spy Who Loved Me. Moonraker, For Your Eyes Only. Octopussy and the Living Daylights. No, what am I saying? Octopussy and View to a Kill. Living Daylights and License to Kill. Again, a disc falling out, which is this time it's GoldenEye. God damn it. GoldenEye, Tomorrow Never Dies, World's Not Enough, Die Another Day, Casino Royale and Quantum of Solace, and Skyfall, and then Spectre. Now, I bought the Spectre Blu-ray and popped it in here because this place was reserved for Spectre. They actually had a little cardboard thing in here, said, you know, disc space reserved for Spectre. And yeah, I was very disappointed when I got the Spectre Blu-ray and it did not match up to the other ones. I don't know, sort of the OCD completionist and me would have liked to have seen the similar design for the Spectre disc. But, you know, it is what it is. At the end, it's the movie that's important. But, you know. And then a bonus disc, which features some great bonus materials. The highlight of the bonus disc, in my opinion, oh, and that's not all the bonuses, of course, all the Bond Blu-rays, they have tons of special features as well on the disc itself. But here, this features the documentary Everything or Nothing from 2012 for the 50th anniversary, which is which is a big license documentary about the entire Bond history, and it's absolutely fantastic. I recommend everyone to watch it. I think it's also been released separately. I do believe there's a physical media release for the documentary separately. So if you can, check it out. It's definitely worth it for every Bond fan. Anyway, that's the Blu-ray box set, and those are all the Bond editions that I have. Now, I do also have a DVD for Never Say Never Again, which I am planning on upgrading to Blu-ray soon for my Connery collection. But yeah, I said it right there, it's in my Connery collection. I don't consider Never Say Never Again a official Bond film, which I think is the way it should. It isn't an official Bond film. I do consider it as a pretty good Connery film. Never Say Never Again has always been one of those oddities where I'm like, it's okay, you know, it's cool to see Connery back. So anyway, those are the James Bond films on DVD and Blu-ray. Do hope you all enjoyed. Stay safe and healthy out there, and I hope you will join me for part 3, which I'm going to show you the posters that I have, which are only a couple, so that won't be too long of a video, hopefully. Anyway, stay safe and healthy. See you in the next one, and take care.